Hello and welcome to the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, your trusted source for Detroit Lions news and rumors. It's your man Kurt Steele. On today's show, we give an update on some Lions players as they were approaching the opening week of the season versus the Rams. Update what they're going on with the injury updates. And do us a favor, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. All of these things help us get this content to more Detroit Lions fans just like yourself. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers, and we are currently at 1792 as we record this show for you all this morning. Now it's time to bring in my co-host. First up is Yagtown's finest and our resident fisherman extraordinaire, LL Cool Torrance. What's going on, my guy?
See, Kurt, that's something I can get behind. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
All right. And y'all know who it is. 281-330-8004. Call who up on the low?
Coach Mike Jones. What's going on, Lion fans?
Man, now this is how our show works. We look at Detroit Lions news, headlines, or takes. If we agree, we say they are bossed up. If we disagree, we say they are balled on. And we give our take on why we agree or disagree. Now let's get into these topics for today's show. Like I said, we're going to give some injury updates on some key players. Time for Hendon Hooker to start versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Kalif Raymond is wide receiver number 3. I know that's something we talked about on this show a few times, but, we're going to get into that a little bit more in detail because of the comments of Dan Campbell yesterday. But first up, let's look at some of these injury updates for the Detroit Lions. All right, yesterday, our guy MCDC gave a promising update on some injuries to some starters sitting out due to some minor nagging injuries. He mentioned that the Lions aims to get Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Dan Skipper, and Malcolm Rodriguez back at practice early next week. Now, one guy who won't be back until the week after is going to be Terrion Arnold, but he should be back to practice before the first game of the year, which is the LA Rams. So that's some good updates. Now, the Lions had some players return to practice yesterday in limited action, including running back Jahmyr Gibbs, Kevin Zeitler, the guard, edge, James Houston, and cornerback Carlton Davis. Now, Amik Robinson hasn't missed any time, but he was limited at practice as well yesterday. Some notable players working on the side with trainers were guard Christian Mahogany, defensive tackle DJ Reader, and cornerback Stephen Gilmore. Now, Reader gave an update on his injury the other day at his charity event. He had his knee scoped to clean up some scar tissue after suffering a setback in June. Now, he is the only player right now not projected to be ready for week 1 of the regular season, but he should be good to go shortly after. Now, let's get some more guys with some roster updates on Tuesday. Detroit waived linebacker Deron Gilbert, safety Maurice Norris with injury settlements. Norris was one of those guys I believe was fighting for a backup safety role that is now all but certain being held by Brandon Joseph. If the Lions, if these players clear waivers, the Lions can re-sign them after 3 weeks due to league rules. They just can't clear waivers and the Lions put them back on the roster. They have to wait. The waiving team has to wait 3 weeks, but another team can pick them up right off the waiver wire, or as soon as they clear waivers, they can sign with another team. Now, and the last bit of roster news, the Lions placed Malik Jefferson and wide receiver Traquan Swift on injured reserve, man, which probably means they're going to be on that waiver wire with the injury settlement coming up in the next couple of weeks. They were bubble guys at the most. I think Jefferson may have had that best chance of making the roster just because of his special teams play, but they signed another special teams linebacker, and we covered it yesterday on yesterday's show. I will not butcher that guy's last name, Joel, the guy coming over from the UFL. I'm not going to do it. It's disrespectful to me to butcher people's name like that, and I don't know how to pronounce it just yet. So once I know how to pronounce it, if he makes the roster, I'll say it. All right. So, last thing, I have to applaud the way the Lions coaching and medical staff have handled the injuries this offseason. The focus is getting guys ready for the regular season, and they're focusing on those guys that already have roster spots. They want to get them ready for those games that matter, aka the Rams. So, with a head coach that and a lot of his staff who played in the NFL, they understand that players do not need to be rushed back from injury. So I'm gonna ask you guys, boss up or balled on how the Lions have handled the injuries of these players, the key players that have been sitting out with injury. So I'm gonna go to you first, LL. What you got? How do you think the Lions, I would say, bossed up or balled on how they've handled the injuries with these key players?
This is a bossed up take, man. Just because I think they did a good job with it. Over the last, I guess since this regime has been in place, I think they kept some of the last training staff or something like that. But yeah, just throughout this whole time, we've kind of seen just how the injuries have been managed, and it seems to work out, kind of well. We even heard, I think it was on the Netflix series from Amara St. Brown that he played last year with like a torn oblique or something like that. But just the fact that they could, and I don't know if I'm giving them too much credit or just him not enough credit for being that tough. But maybe they got him, good enough to where he can go out there and play. So, maybe that's a combination of the two, a very good staff and a very tough SOB. But boss up take on that. But one thing that I do want to say, that's just, I tried to tell y'all a long time ago, I do like DJ Reader, all that good stuff, but everybody was hooting and hollering, doing cartwheels about it. Now look, I told y'all, Roger Martin, man, at least we get to see that part.
All right. Coach Jones, who look like he's on the IR right now with the sniffles. What you got, my man?
Yeah, man. Real, them kids, man. So man, this is a boss up take, man, because the fact the Lions will be 99.9% healthy going into week 1. I think that the training staff and the coaching staff as well have both worked together and get these guys ready here, man, because everything looks good before the season. The roster looks good, but if you go into the season and you don't have certain guys in certain areas, man, it don't look so good. But the Lions are nursed and they back to full health. It's good to see guys coming back. We all glad Jahmyr Gibbs is coming back, man. And one thing, man, is I am kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie, because I had a lot of hopes for Tre'Quan Smith when he got signed. I was like, Tre'Quan Smith is gonna make this roster. He's gonna be wide receiver 5. I just knew Tre'Quan Smith from his New Orleans days was gonna come in here and be able to kind of step in and just take that role on as being an extra big body receiver, man. And he has not became that. And I just feel like, man, what's going on with you, DPJ? Maybe y'all sipping on the same stuff, man. Stop sipping on that. Put that yak down.
Yeah. Hey, do us a favor, man. Like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. Drop us a comment. Tell us how we're doing. Let us know in the comments. # bossed up if you like how the Lions have handled the injuries, the coaching staff and the medical staff. Balled on if you think that they did a bad job because we got too many players banged up. Let us know what you think in the comments. Definitely injuries are going to happen, but now it's time to switch gears, man. And I've been looking forward to this topic as soon as I knew that Coach Jones was going to talk about it. So, Coach Jones, man, holler at me about what's going on with Hendon Hooker.
Man, I'm just saying right now, anybody with 2 eyeballs and above the age of 5, okay, knows that it's time for Hendon Hooker to rep with the twos, man. Like, it's time. Like, it's time to take the training wheels off. I know they've been delicate with him, to let him fully heal last season, and they started him at the bottom of the depth chart and made him climb his way up. But enough is enough, okay? It's time to see this man get a full half of work with the twos. It's time because it's just, oh, man, we just don't want to see Nate Sudfeld. I mean, that's all that is really.
Number one.
I mean that's number one. But you know what? He looks so smooth when he's running with that third team. Like everything looks like it is working. Everything looks like it's coming together. We want to see if that's maybe because he's ahead of the threes, or if it's because he can actually take the twos and run it smoothly. And maybe, if something, I'm not gonna really throw that in the air because I don't want. But if he has to step in and take over at any point in time for any game, maybe he can steer the ship for a game or two. Because he's smooth with his smooth play, man, and maybe he can get away with his legs being a catalyst for him engineering drives, man. But we got to see it, man, because we've just had enough of. We've seen all we want to see in Nate Sudfeld. Nate Sudfeld should be battling Jake Fromm for that QB3 spot. Like, we shouldn't see Nate Sudfeld honestly until the fourth quarter. We should see Jake Fromm before we see Nate Sudfeld, just because we haven't seen Jake Fromm yet. So Jake Fromm should be the first quarterback coming out of halftime. And then Nate Sudfeld should get that fourth quarter. But Hendon Hooker needs to get reps with the twos. We need to see, does it look as smooth with the twos as it does with the threes? And if it does, then he's your backup quarterback. Like, enough is enough. And I'm kind of about to be a little rough on Dan Campbell, but hey, bro, like we know what you're doing. Oh yeah, he got to work his way up. Cut it, okay? Because if we got to put Nate Sudfeld out there for any reason, any damn reason, we are doomed. Okay, so do y'all agree with this? Do you think Hendon Hooker has deserved and earned that QB2 role?
I'm gonna let you go first, LL. What you got, my man?
Well, short answer, yes, I do believe that Hendon Hooker, it's time for Hendon Hooker. Number one, because it ain't time for Nate Sudfeld. Number two, why not? Everything that you just said, shoot, might as well, man. We drafted him for a reason. Go ahead and see what he got, man. I think that's what they plan to do. I think he'll get some time. Maybe if he don't start the game, he'll get a lot of time with the two. At least maybe that's just my hope. But I'm right with you, Coach Mike, on this one.
No, I'm not saying maybe he needs to come in. No, he needs to start. Like, not no coming in the first quarter. No, he needs to start.
All right, so I'm gonna give my boss up as well to your take. Hendon Hooker has proved that he is worthy of that QB2 position. He still has some struggles, but he is, in all actuality, still a rookie. He didn't play last year, so this is his rookie season. Now, MCDC said yesterday that they had planned on starting Hooker versus the Chiefs, but due to Hooker being held out for that concussion, he was limited to that backup role. The Steelers will be a good game to showcase his growth. However, I don't think it will be a measuring stick or how he will perform in the regular season, because it will still be pretty vanilla. The Lions aren't going to give up any type of trade secrets in the preseason, because Ben Johnson is going to call a really basic game plan. But he's going to put Hooker in a spot to succeed. Now, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't want to see Nate Sudfeld anymore. I've seen all I need to see from Nate Sudfeld. It's time for Jake from State Farm to get out there and see what he can do. Yes, like I did that, man. Jake from State Farm. I know, man. That was a straight dad joke, man. But okay. Do us a favor, man. Like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. Hey, man, subscribe to the channel. It's free. It's free. It's free 99 and 50 free cents. You keep coming back and watching anyway, so why haven't you subscribed, man? Go ahead and subscribe to the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. Man, now it's time for our final topic of the day. And this is something that myself and LL have been preaching over the last few weeks, man. So go ahead, my man, LL, and take it to the stage and talk about Kalif Raymond.
You sound like you was bringing some other kind of talent to the stage. But, our guy, Lil Leaf, this was that main Jim Bordeaux's guy, Kalif Raymond, is wide receiver 3. I know I put it at the last point there, but I didn't put it at the last point, but it's never mind. Straight from Dan Campbell's mouth himself. And this is yesterday in the presser. Dan Campbell confidently believes Kalif Raymond is the Lions wide receiver 3. In this article, they kind of broke down how they're using it, like instead of 1, 2, 3 and the X and Y and Z and F and all of that kind of stuff. I know that both of you guys know, but some of y'all out there and all that. But just in the order of things, Kalif Raymond will be number 3. What does that mean? Does this mean that? Well, I just kind of explained that. But like, does this mean that he'll be the slaughter? Is he playing out wide or whatever it is? They see him as the second slot. So from I guess out wide is Jameson Williams, then Amon-Ra St. Brown, and that second slot is either going to be Sam Laporta or Kalif Raymond, is what they're saying. And because there's always suggestions out there. I watch a couple of the other Detroit sports shows when they talk about the Lions, and they all say we need to bring in another wide receiver. Everybody will say, "Oh, we need to bring in a big body wide receiver. We need to do this. That's the only kind of wide receiver that we don't got." Blah di da di da di da di da. Right? Way I look at that is a lot of people always say like, "Hey, you got to trust in Brad. We trust and all that kind of stuff." Right? So this is a Brad. It's more than likely especially if we don't sign a bigger wide receiver, is a Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell move. So I want y'all to shut up and trust them a little bit. This is how it's gonna be, I suppose. You know how it's gonna go. They're probably not gonna bring in any other players, especially not no high price players. And I don't really want that anyway, because I don't think we need them. But let's say if we all have talked about it, we all know what's coming up. A lot of cuts and things, right? So let's say. Some roster bubble players or whatever it is, maybe some players that are out there. And I got these 2 players from an article. When they like one player to every one bubble wide receiver from every team that the Lions should look at. And I'm looking at the San Francisco 49ers. Coach Mike, I know you'll love this one. That's Ronnie Bell. I personally don't believe he's on the bubble because he just got there and he played pretty well every time they gave him a chance. But if for whatever reason he is released, maybe Ronnie Bell, and number 2, a SEC guy from LSU, Terrence Marshall Jr. He was he came out with the other 2 Rockets out of LSU. He was with those other 2. I don't think he came out with because I think Justin Jefferson came out first, but Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Terrence Marshall that year with Joe Burrow down that way. But maybe Terrence Marshall Jr. from the Carolina Panthers. Terrence Marshall is that bigger body wide receiver that everybody speaks about, and he might come in very, very, very cheap. Those are just 2 options. I personally am okay with Kalif Raymond playing wide receiver for us and getting a lot of opportunity, man. He shows up every time we ask him. He does everything we ask him to do. He'll return it. He go out there and make the tough catch. He'll run that mug for you. He'll go out there and block for you. I don't know if y'all seen any of the clips from camp. He out there, he getting tough with the coaches and stuff, man. That's he's a lion, man. He's a everybody was throwing around that term Dan Campbell guy. I think this is a Dan Campbell guy. So I like Kalif Raymond, number 3. If y'all don't like it, y'all can shove about it. But not you 2 guys. What do you think? If you don't like it, tell me why.
All right, I'm gonna boss up on this one as well. LL, we've discussed this, man. I'll tell this for week. Leaf is wide receiver 3, and I think people are misconstruing something. He's not a traditional wide receiver 3, but he's also not a conventional slot receiver either. Raymond can get open down the field and make plays. He's one of the fastest guys on the team. People keep talking about how fast JMO is, but Kalif Raymond is fast. He is really fast. So, and he's one of those guys that can get separation. People underestimated him because of his size, and that's dangerous because he can get open. He can get off the line of scrimmage, and he's so fast where you can blink and that dude is behind you. So, and the one thing I like about Kalif Raymond is that he's the second hardest working wide receiver on the team. We all know who the first one is. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown because he ain't gonna let nobody outwork him. But behind him is Kalif Raymond. I watched a couple clips from practice yesterday. I don't think DPJ is off the roster just yet. He made an excellent catch. And someone brought this up the other day. I think it was you, LL, or talking about the people who were throwing DPJ the ball. And he looks more comfortable definitely with Jared Goff, but I think he'll be the wide receiver 4 if he stays on this roster. Now, Ben Johnson plans to get his players. He always have had a plan to get his players in the best position to thrive. Now, he will use Laporta and some of the other tight ends in the red zone. And there are a lot of people that are worried about the big body 50-50 ball pass catcher that we need on this roster. Ben has a plan. And guess what happened last year? The Lions didn't have one of those guys on the roster last year, and they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. So calm it down. I'm with you, LL. Man, trust the process, man, and trust what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell got going on for this roster. So it's bossed up for me. What you got, Coach Jones?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's the ball on topic right there, man. Because I do think they still are gonna bring in a big body receiver if DPJ doesn't step up and make the squad, man. Because while it does do good to have those slot receivers, if you remember in that Super Bowl, man, where Goff was in, man, those routes got taken away. Those crossing routes, those little in and out routes. Sometimes you need a big body receiver, man, to just run to the sticks, turn around, while your body out, sit, catch the ball, and just move the chains, man. And they just
like St. Brown did against the Rams. Okay, keep going.
No, I mean, I know that's right. I mean, that's right, man. But you do need one more guy, just matchup purposes, man. So yeah, like, and then too, it's what Ben Johnson said, man. Ben Johnson is looking for that, and he said in his presser about 2 weeks ago, Ben Johnson's looking for that big body guy. He said it himself. He's looking for that guy. So I think if DPJ doesn't step up, he doesn't make the roster, which I think he probably will end up making the roster. But if he doesn't, be on the lookout, man, because they might go and pick up the guy from LSU, or they might try and pick up a Traylon Burks. I just see them with that one hole, well, we don't need, and I just don't think that the Lions are in a position where they can just be like, well, we don't need that. No, I think they're covering all bases. You see how they got 2 corners in the draft, how everything is lining up, how they're doubling down on all these positions. They're going to get a guy. So if DPJ don't want to step up, they're going to get a guy.
I got a quick question for you, Dean. Would you rather us sign a big body wide receiver or somebody to actually play out the opposite side of Hutch? That's to both of y'all if y'all want to answer.
I'd rather have another proven defensive end, just because of the fact that the process of Jared Goff, man, it takes him a while to get used to receivers. We've seen that. I mean, look at Amon-Ra St. Brown's first year. It took him over half the season for Goff to get where they got in sync. So it takes a while for Goff to get in sync with wide receivers. It was the same way with DJ Chark. And with Reynolds, he kind of just came in and he already had the relationship with Jared Goff. Goff already trusted him. He knew how he wanted to, throw the ball to him. He knew how to run his routes for Jared Goff. Look how long it's taken Jameson Williams to kind of like get himself into where him and Goff are on the same page. So that's my only thing with Jared Goff, is that bringing in a big body receiver. Jared Goff, he throws some nice tight window throws, but is he a good 50-50 ball thrower? I don't know if he is. I don't really know. I really haven't seen that in his toolbox. So my thing is, if we can do what we did last year without having one of those guys on the roster, I'm okay with it going forward if we don't have one of those guys on the roster.
But we did have Reynolds. You know what I'm saying?
But Reynolds is a slight. He was a slight body guy. I mean, he's tall. But he's not a big dude. I mean, he wasn't fit to wrestle the ball out of nobody's hands.
I understand that, but he can run to the sticks. He can turn around, and he more high pointed the ball. But yeah, but too, you just need that, man. I know you got those guys who find their little routes and find their hole, but sometimes you got to go and get that mug, man.
I mean, and right now, I go get a guy as St. Brown. That's our go get it guy. He gonna go get it because ain't nobody gonna wrestle the ball from that dude.
Answer the question, Mike.
What's up?
You want the wide receiver or
wide receiver? He's already answered. He said he want a wide receiver.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, not really. If you putting it up against like a wide receiver versus a pass rush. I'm taking pass rush all day. I'm a D-line coach, man. What the hell?
He a D-line coach, man. Hey,
just making sure.
Hey, thank you guys for watching, checking us out, man, right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. Like the video, share the video. See, and this is what we do here on this channel, man. We do organic debate, man. We ain't got no hot takes, man. We gonna say what the hell we feel and mean it. So that's what we do right here on the Boss Up Ball Out podcast, man. Do us a quick favor. You know, we ask you all every time, man, but make sure you follow the crew on your favorite social media platforms, man. You know, you got Coach Mike Jones over there. He got some good shorts over there on his YouTube channel. So check out Wolverine Sports Talk on his YouTube channel, man. Y'all know how, man. If you want to get some good fishing videos, go check out my man LL Cool Torrance over there on his channel as well. And yeah, y'all know I do my thing, man. I kick it around on my channel as well. Check me out on Facebook, man. You can find all the content and go over to kurtsteele.com and check out more content from your boy Kurt Steele, man. Now it's time for parting shots on this hump day, baby. Go ahead, Coach Jones. You up first today. What you got?
Man, guess what, man? I think we found our Jake Bates. Man, we was there's a guy who come over from the soccer team, man, and you know, soccer and football season run at the same time, but our games are on different days. And man, he came over, man, and he booted. I think it was like a 45-yarder, and it had some room too. So man, I'm excited. We got our Jake Bates. This dude, man, we can call him Legatron, man, because he out there booting, man. And, hey, salute, sir.
Yeah, I ain't caught. See, we call other kickers in Detroit Legatron. I said I'm calling Jake Bates Greg with the leg. All right, what you got, my man?
Well, of course, happy Wednesday. Dollar conies are kind of scarce, so find your best coney deal. I just want to end with this. Coach Mike, I'm going to let you slide by trying to blame the wide receivers for Jared Goff and not being able to complete them passes over the middle, because Chicago do that too. They just know that that's where he like to go, and he can't throw it nowhere else because his arm is a water pistol.
What the hell?
I don't know about that, man. You watch some of them tight throws he threw to San Laporta last season. He was fitting the balls into the
yeah. But what about that little out route he can't throw and all that other stuff? Did Jalen Johnson sit on? That's,
you know what?
Jared Goff got Jalen Johnson paid this year.
You know that I already know that everybody know that, you know, whatever it is, little bit tweaks to Jared Goff game. You know, I know you're gonna point it out. You ain't gonna point out him having a 4,000 yard passing season, 30 touchdowns. You know, I don't know.
Did he throw 30? But I did give him now that he looking much better, throwing that deep ball to all our friend J-Mo. But we got to see it in the game. I know that part, but you also know that, you know, what I call him, that duck arm boy. You know, he throw them ducks out there, man.
He's getting a little better. He's working with a quarterback coach.
Getting a little better.
He's getting some better. Like that touchdown he had against the Bucks to St. Brown in the corner. That was a nice tight spiral right over, and he dropped the thing right in the bucket to St. Brown in the NFC divisional game. Mm-hmm. All right, so for your man Kirsten, man, thank you guys for having that midweek break with us right here on the Boss Up All Out podcast, man. Make sure you go and finish getting ready for work, man, and have a great day. And don't let anyone steal your joy. If you're having a bad day, don't steal no one else's joy as well. Do your man Kurt Steele a favor. Whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man, Coach Mike Jones and LL Cool Torrance, this is Kurt Steele, and we will holla at you real soon.